Hi, my name is Casey Head. I am a 3-time acute lymphoblastic leukemia survivor. I am an author and a cancer survivorship coach. In this video, you will learn about mantras, or positive affirmations as they're sometimes referred to. So let's get started with what is a positive affirmation or mantra? A mantra, in the simplest terms, is a statement or slogan repeated frequently. In our new Western world, modern-day spiritual practices, the word mantra has become as mainstream as the word intention. Mantra means man, and tra, which is the transportation vehicle. In other words, mantra is an instrument of the mind, a very powerful sound or vibration that you can use to enter deeper states of meditation. It's like planting a seed of intention that uses the sound of vibrational energy towards a goal. A positive affirmation, on the other hand, is basically positive phrases or statements used to challenge negative or unhelpful thoughts. They basically are positive phrases that you repeat to yourself, which describe how you want to be. So, what is the difference between a positive affirmation and a mantra? Technically, affirmations are motivation, and mantras are generally sacred or have some spiritual nature about them. For this purpose, we are using the term interchangeably. Both are designed to get over negative thoughts and create inner peace to help reduce overall stress and anxiety. They will help increase your positive emotions, increase your confidence, and increase your personal success. They are like giving yourself a motivation mini pep talk all the time. And a mantra, as I like to refer to, is a vitamin for the soul. I generally think that in the world we are in now, today, that using the term mantra and positive affirmation are interchangeable to a certain extent. There are no hard rules when it comes to this. So, why use a mantra in the first place? Well, researchers have found out at Johns Hopkins University, led by Lisa Yannick and her team, found that the mechanism for health and positive thinking are protected against inflammatory damage of stress when they studied people who used mantras versus people who did not. So what came out of this study is that positivity and hope help people make better health and life decisions. They help people focus more on long-term goals. It can also, using a mantra, open the mind up to more options while broadening the sense of possibility. This will be what you will use in your time of need. It's the default voice in your head, especially when it gets tough. When you need that little something extra to get you to the other side. It's got to be personal to what you're trying to work through in the moment. Like I said, mantras are vitamins for the soul. You can use many mantras that are already out there, or you can come up with your own to best serve you. The purpose of mantras or positive affirmations are meant to elevate your joy, especially during hard or challenging times. A mantra will make it feel as though you are constantly giving yourself a mental pep talk. So, how do you exactly come up with or use a mantra? Your mantra should resonate with you in the now, in the current moment, not later, now. It should serve you in this moment. You will use that mantra that serves you in the moment for as long as you need. And yes, you can have more than one mantra at a time. And yes, your mantra can evolve or change. Once you feel as though your mantra fulfilled its purpose, you can move on from that mantra for as long as you'd like. For example, I used a mantra during treatment, just one step at a time. I used it until it no longer served me, and then I moved on. The one I used coming out of my treatment was, I am worthy and deserving of love. And I worked through this with this mantra until it no longer served me. But I know it's there to come back to when and if I need it at any point, especially when doubt starts to rear its ugly head again. Like I mentioned earlier, your mantra will change, or it only may need to serve you for so much time, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. A mantra actually should shift as you will. Once it's done its job for you, it's time to move on. Mantras are vitamins for the soul, and one too many of the same vitamin could become toxic. So just move on to the next one that will serve you best. I love using this one now, especially during a really hard task, like holding a plank. You can do anything for a minute. A minute is nothing. Or another one that I really love using when I work out, especially when I choose to do things that I don't enjoy, but I know are good for me, is you can do this, you've done harder. You don't need to overcomplicate it. But I know when I say those to myself, I hunker down and get it done. Here are a few positive affirmations or mantras to get you started, to get your brain thinking of creative ways you can find your mantra to serve you. The first is, I think only positive thoughts and am always happy and joyous, no matter what the external conditions are. Another one is, my fear diminishes as I live my life with courage. This one I really love is, I am brave. It's short, it's to the point, and it really hits home. So, how do you come up with your own mantra? Here are my tips for writing an effective mantra for yourself. Tip number 1, keep it in the first person. It is your mantra, so it's got to be for you. Number 2, keep it simple. Don't make it super complicated just because you can. The simpler, the easier, the better. Number 3, make sure to write it in a positive tone, not a negative tone. Number 4, it should have an emotional charge. It should be something that you are working on. So it should create emotional energy within your body. Write it in the present tense. Those are my 5 top tips for writing an effective mantra for yourself. I encourage you to try to come up with your own mantra that you can use daily. Start the day off by saying it to yourself every single morning when you wake up and every single night before bed. Use it when hard tasks or treatments are coming along. Try the mantra out for a minimum of 10 days. And if it's still working for you, aim for at least 30 more days. And then, once it's served its purpose, move on to the next one. Or if it's still working for you, keep with that same mantra. Keep working on each one until it feels true to your core. That's when you know you can move on to the next one. So now that you have your own positive affirmation or mantra, or 2 or 3 or more, what do you do with them? You can use mantras during meditation, which I strongly encourage. This reinforces those positive thoughts and thinking. You can use it when you are about to have a really challenging procedure or scan. It's really there for you to use to get through challenging situations or tough moments. But it's got to feel right for you. I typically have a few going at once that I lean on when I need them most. It's okay that they change and shift and evolve with you. Find words that work for you, with you, in the state that you currently are in. So I encourage you to come up with your own mantra in the first person, as simple and as easy as you can make it, in a positive way to create emotional change within the present moment. If you have any questions or just want to leave a comment, please feel free to find me on the Gryt Health app under Casey H. I'm 37 years old and diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello, hello. Greetings from Seattle, Washington. My name is Kim Lowe, and I'm here today to talk to you about yoga and meditation. And I'm dialing in today from my bedroom. When Dave first invited me to participate in the Mental Health Summit, that was way back in February, before COVID-19 changed everybody's lives. And at that time, I was thinking I would record in the yoga studio, but as we know, times have changed. So here I am in my bedroom, and it's a pretty typical spring day in Seattle with a little bit of rain. So you may hear some raindrops in the background in the skylight above me. So with that, I just want to welcome everybody and to extend a gracious thank you for taking the time to join today and to really do something fantastic for your body and for your mental health to join this summit. And of course, a thank you to Dave and the entire Gryt team for hosting such a fantastic event. So, as I said, my name is Kim Lowe, and I'm actually a cancer researcher. I've been doing cancer research for about 15 years, working on a really wide range of projects, everything from improving diagnostics to treatments to helping patients have better access to care. And I went back to school, it's been a few years ago now, to learn how to become a yoga and meditation teacher because I felt that I was ready to help cancer patients in a more holistic way and also their caregivers. And so I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about yoga and meditation. I know we have a very diverse audience, and so for those of you who are already practicing yoga, I'm hopeful to inspire you to maybe do a little more. If you're going to yoga studios or you're practicing online a couple of days a week, I'm hoping to inspire you maybe to incorporate a 10 or 15 minute practice into your day every day. And for those of you who maybe haven't tried yoga before, or maybe even aren't even think yoga is the right thing for you, I'm hoping to inspire you and show you that yoga really is a fantastic tool for everybody. So with that, I'm going to jump into my slideshow here. I have about 10 slides, and then we'll start moving our bodies together a little bit. So let's see. Try to get my slide. There we go. Okay. So one of the reasons why I was so inspired to go back to school to become a yoga and meditation teacher is because I am somebody who has really struggled with anxiety my whole life. And this picture really represents what it feels like to me when I'm in a state of anxiety. And yoga and meditation have been two fantastic tools that have really helped me move into a better state of calm and peace and balance in my life. And I really am inspired to just help everybody have access to those tools so they can have more overall well-being. So in this picture, the woman depicted there that's the way that I felt and still feel sometimes when anxiety creeps its way into my life. Just a feeling of being boxed in between two brick walls where it feels like everything outside of those walls is really just much happier and lighter and easier than what I was experiencing on the inside, or what I do experience on the inside when I feel anxiety today. And so I don't know if this picture resonates with any of you, but if it does, I just want to give you hope that in addition to many of the other tools I know you guys have been learning about with the journaling and the breath work in some of the previous summits, that yoga and meditation can be another tool in your toolbox to help you sort of chip your way out of feeling chronically anxious or chronically depressed. And I'm not promoting that yoga and meditation is a cure-all. I mean, we all deal with challenges. Anxiety is going to creep into our lives, or maybe we'll be in certain situations where we just can't help but be anxious. And it's at those moments that I'm hoping that you can learn to incorporate yoga and meditation as a tool to get over the hump and back into a peaceful state of being. So for me, as I was making more awareness of how anxiety and depression were affecting just my overall mental health and really my physical health, I started to think about my mental health as a bucket. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing. If you're somebody who is experiencing a lot of anxiety or depression, take time to journal or to even just reflect inward. What are the factors that are triggering you to feel that way? Are there specific things that you're chronically worrying about? Are there specific responsibilities that are causing extra stress? Are there things in your life that you need to do that are perhaps uncomfortable or that are really pushing you in that direction? And so those are the X flow, those are the outpour in the picture here of the bucket. And then also on the converse side of that, take stock of what you're doing to really help your mental health. So those are the drips falling into the bucket. For me, I made two separate lists. On one side of the list, I wrote down things that I was doing to help improve the way I was feeling and to help improve my mental health. And then I wrote down on the other side of the list what things were actually triggering me and taking away from my mental health. And then I just went through and I patched the holes. So the things that I could give away or that I could take care of that would prevent more of my mental health and more of my well-being from escaping my state of being, I put patches on those essentially, perhaps delegated responsibilities away, made less commitments, things of that nature. And of course, there are always things that are going to be energy drains or drains on our mental health that there isn't anything that we can do about. And those are the holes in the buckets where the water is still leaking out. And that's just part of life. But the way that we can balance that is by providing more input into the bucket. So what are some ways in your life that you can help enhance your mental health? And I'm hoping today that you'll see that yoga and meditation are two ways that you can help crank up the faucet of well-being into your life. Okay, so we're at a mental health summit, so I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about the mental health benefits of yoga and meditation, but I would be remiss if I didn't also mention some of the physical benefits, because there are so many great benefits of yoga. And particularly for cancer patients, this is really, really important. So the first figure there in the green, that's a picture of the lymphatic system. So unlike our circulatory system, the lymphatic system drains and moves through our body by movement alone. It isn't pumped by the heart, although the circulatory system does help a little bit in moving lymph tissue. But the majority of our lymph tissue is moved because of how we're moving our body. So increasing our arms up helps drain lymph down the arms. Doing twists helps move lymph in our body. And this is really important, especially for cancer patients, because it helps with detoxification and it also helps boost the immune system. So those are two things that are really, really important, and probably one of the greatest benefits of yoga is this for cancer patients. The second greatest benefit is related to bone mass and bone health. So many types of cancers and often many cancer treatments can affect bone health. And yoga is considered to be a gentle, weight-bearing exercise. Some studies have shown that even just 10 minutes of yoga a day increases bone mass in cancer patients. So obviously standing poses are going to put weight bearing onto the leg bones. The other poses such as this, where we're on hands and knees doing like a cat-cow or a stretching our back, this is going to put weight onto the arm bones, which helps increase bone mass. And then the third benefit here is just muscle strength. So obviously with yoga, we're moving our muscles, which enhances strength. But also, I think a really important point to mention here is that yoga helps with range of motion. So many cancer patients are dealing with the side effects of surgery or radiation that may have left scar tissue. And just increasing range of motion through yogic movements can really help with daily functioning. So one woman I work with, I know she's mentioned that a lot of the work that we do in the upper body has helped her have more confidence just in daily hygiene and daily just taking care of herself, because she's exercising her upper body in a way that she normally wouldn't do that just by simple chair yoga movements. So holistically, yoga is fantastic for all of the systems of your body. And then of course, there's the emotional benefit of yoga. So those of us who practice yoga regularly know that it can be a very, very relaxing type of exercise. And one of the main benefits of this is yoga helps us to trigger the relaxation response in our bodies. And for those of us who tend to run a little bit in a faster gear, or who are dealing with anxiety-provoking situations a lot, can have a difficult time actually learning how to relax and how to get into that relaxed state of being. And practicing this at home or in a yoga studio, practicing learning how to relax in a calm and safe environment, we develop a muscle memory for that. And so it makes it easier to engage the relaxation response when we're in a situation that may be provoking our anxiety a little bit, or if we're dealing with chronic worry over a specific situation, getting yourself into a pose where your body remembers how to relax can help boost you over the hump and back into a peaceful state of being. Okay, so one thing I really, really want to stress here, since I know we have such a diverse audience, yoga has become so mainstream in our culture. And I was working with a 70-ish-year-old woman not too long ago, and she said, you know, I don't feel like I can do yoga because I'm 70. I've never done it. I've just been diagnosed and I'm not in very good shape. And I think all of those reasons are actually fantastic reasons to do yoga. So you don't have to be dressed from head to toe in Lululemon and sweat it out in a hot yoga studio for an hour to do yoga. Yes, many headstands would be considered yoga, but not all yoga is headstands. And so I just really, really, really want to invite all of you to give it a try. There are many, many fantastic standing poses that are great for your body, great for your bone health. Chair yoga is a fantastic, gentle, powerful tool for exercising your body and relaxing your mind. There are many great sitting poses that are really, really beneficial. And then, of course, many poses can be done laying down. And all of these are equal. So you don't have to be doing the hardest, most, socially challenging yoga to be getting the benefit of the practice. You can be laying down in your home for 15 minutes, mindfully syncing the breath with the body and have equal benefit. So I've said before, yoga isn't just for everybody. Yoga is for every body. And I truly believe that that's true. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit here into meditation. I love this quote, "One conscious breath in and out is a meditation." I know there's a lot of hype in society today about meditation, and there's actually a really, really rich body of research that's been done showing the benefits of meditation. Yet still so many people find it to be really, really challenging to prioritize meditation into their day. And some people find it challenging to actually get in the groove and the rhythm of it, because it's really, honestly, it's kind of challenging to do when you're first starting out. And so I just want to debunk a couple of myths here. I think a lot of people, when they think of meditation, they think of either a meditating monk that they've seen in a movie or perhaps on their own travels, sitting peacefully, calmly for hours at a time in a state of complete Zen. And it really makes it look like meditation is an easy thing to do. And then when you go home and you sit down, cross-legged with your spine straight and try to be still for a while, it becomes crazy in your head. It's like an invitation for all of the worries to come in, the what ifs, the how do I do this? What am I going to do about that? And that's really, really, really normal. And so for those of you who are interested in meditation, and I can't stress enough how beneficial meditation is for managing anxiety and depression, even just a small amount every day. I just want to encourage you that if you're giving it a try and you're finding it to be a little bit challenging, that's completely, completely normal. So I want to offer a couple of suggestions. So when you're learning to meditate, or if you're thinking about learning to meditate, it's akin to what it was like when you first learned to ride a bike. So you got your first bike when you were a kid, you probably didn't go out and start trying to ride the bike uphill. That would be, in the metaphor for, or the analogy for meditation, that would be coming to your house, sitting cross-legged, with the spine straight, and hoping to sit in quiet and peace for 30 minutes. That would be like riding a bike uphill for the first time. It's just not going to happen. So if you want to learn to meditate, don't expect yourself to sit quietly and peacefully for a long period of time at first, and maybe not even ever. I personally have been meditating for a number of years, and I'm comfortable to sit quietly and peacefully for about 15 minutes at most. It's plenty of time for me personally. I know others can go longer. Some people go less. It's very individually specific. There's no one size fits all approach. But as you're learning, I just want you to be showing yourself a lot of grace and not expecting, to be a monk style meditator right out the door. Again, like I was just saying, also, it's totally normal to have a lot of thoughts come in your head when you finally sit down to be quiet. And the fact that you're even noticing that the thoughts are in your head is a really, really positive step in the right direction to learning how to empty the thoughts out of your head. First, you have to recognize that they're there, but don't be hard on yourself that they're there. Just recognize that they are. And don't expect to like meditation right away. It can take a little bit of time to get up to speed, to really get comfortable with it. And I just want to really, really caution everybody to be careful about feeling like they're meditating in right or wrong. There's a lot of opinions out there about how to do it, the right way to do it. And again, I think it's just, you have to find what works right for you. So what are some ways you can set yourself up for success? First of all, don't sit like this. So if you can see me, I'm sitting in a cross-legged position with my spine straight. Traditional meditative position would be then to place your hands on your knees. This isn't a very good place to start learning how to meditate because it isn't necessarily all that comfortable. For those of you who are starting out, I really suggest start meditating in a lay down position or a reclining position, whatever feels best for your body. I still today, after having meditated for many, many years, start my day every day with a 20-minute guided meditation in bed, right when I wake up with my earbuds in my ears. Just get myself comfortable, relax into the zone as I listen to the guided meditation. It's a really, really great way to let your body relax and to kick up the good feelings in your body without having to put a lot of pressure on your mind to empty. Another thing you can do if you don't want to listen to a guided meditation is get in a comfortable physical position and then just allow your imagination to either feel a healing light coming down over your body, or some people really like to imagine a healing color. Sometimes when I do this, I'll use lavender as a color. Just imagine a healing color of lavender coming down through my body as I breathe. Or one thing that we teach in Heart Math is to identify a positive emotion that you like and try to recall what it feels like to feel that emotion. So often when I do this, I'll recall a feeling of joy. I'll try to remember a time in my life when I felt a lot of joy, and I can close my eyes, put my hand on my heart, breathe calmly, and just resonate the feeling of joy throughout my body. Even doing that for 1 minute is a meditation. It's a successful, fantastic, wonderful meditation. So if you're just starting out, I suggest if you're not going to do a guided meditation, those are usually set for a specific time. If you just want to meditate on your own, either by trying to relax your body and empty your thoughts, or to imagine the healing light or the healing color or the positive emotion, just set the timer on your phone for 1 minute and allow yourself to be present in that way for 1 minute, and then stop. And do that for a couple of days, and then increase the time to 3 minutes. Do that for a couple of days. Increase to 5 minutes. Do that for a couple of days. And before you know it, you will be at a point at which your phone buzzer is going off before your body's ready to get out of that state. And so that's a really great place to be, but it requires baby steps to get to that point. And so just be easy on yourself, knowing that that's the process truly for everybody. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about how meditation and yoga can help with heart coherence. So if you haven't spent any time on the HeartMath website, I really recommend going there and just taking a look around. There's been a lot of research done that links the emotions that we're feeling in our body and the rhythms of our heart. So when we're in a state of anxiety, frustration, or tension, our heart rhythms are really erratic and non-coherent. And that when that's happening, that affects all of the systems of the body. So if you're feeling pretty revved up, or if you're having a lot of anxiety, that can affect your digestive system. It definitely affects your nervous system. And so one way that we can help get ourselves into a state of coherence is through regulating the breath. And you can see there's a lot of YouTube videos and information out there where you can be hooked up to a biofeedback machine when you're in a state of anxiety, and you spend time calmly breathing and helping yourself get centered. You can see the rhythmic and the coherent beating of your heart start to take shape. So in this particular figure in the top in the red, that's an incoherent heartbeat based on anxiety. And the blue line is showing what the heart looks like when it's in a really coherent and rhythmic state due to positive emotions and peace. And as you start to meditate more and do more yoga, you'll feel this in your body. You can feel when you're off balance and when things are non-coherent, and taking the time to really center, to do the yoga postures, to be quiet in the meditation, you'll begin to feel the coherence building in your body and in your heart rhythms. It's really, really positive benefit and experience from yoga and meditation. Okay, so let's get into our bodies here a little bit. Okay, so I happen to be sitting on the floor just because that's what works best for my filming. But if you're sitting in a chair, that works great too. I invite you to take off your shoes and socks if that's an easy thing to do. And we'll just do a little bit of movement in our body. I would like to offer a couple of tools that I think everybody can use starting today that may help with anxiety or depression or just daily challenges that we're facing, especially now with COVID-19. Okay, so let's just take a second to get centered. If you're sitting in a chair, just get comfortable. One thing with yoga and meditation is we want our sitting bones to make a really solid connection with the surface that we're sitting on. So you can just take a minute to help move the fleshy part of your behind to the side, just to help your sitting bones really make a good, solid connection. Okay, so the first thing I want to introduce is called the Ujjayi breath. And I can't stress enough how powerful of a tool this is to help release excess emotions from our body. So we all know we breathe in and we all have a normal exhale. In yoga, we always breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth, or breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose. We never breathe in through the mouth and exhale through the mouth because that's very, very stimulating for the body. And so with an Ujjayi breath, it's a little special and a little more of a powerful tool for releasing emotion partly because of the sound it makes and partly because of the physiology that you're doing with the body. So an Ujjayi breath is simply imagine the sound that you're making if you were to fog up a window. So I invite you to practice with me and just see how it feels in your body. So that's the sound it makes. A lot of people call it the ocean breath or the wind in the trees breath because that's the sound it makes. And it's just a way of releasing excess emotion, especially if we engage our imagination. So if we're feeling a lot of anxiety or fear or frustration, if you can imagine those emotions escaping your body or leaving your body with the breath, then it's even more powerful. And the Ujjayi breath is held for the entire duration of the exhale. So I'm going to demonstrate for 2 rounds of breath, and feel free to join me if you'd like to. I'm going to do the first one with my mouth open, and hopefully you can hear okay with my speaker. And then for the second round, I'm going to do it with my mouth closed. Okay, so inhale. Round 2. Now, if it is uncomfortable for you to take long, deep breaths, that's okay. You can still do the Ujjayi breath on the length and the depth that's comfortable and that works best for your body. So I invite you to just experiment with that a little bit on your own time and see if you can notice any differences in your body. So one thing I also want to introduce really quickly is I know that when I'm in a really anxiety-provoking situation, sometimes it's hard for me to focus on the breath because my mind is so focused on whatever issue is causing me the anxiety. And so I have to give my mind a tool to focus on something else. And so I do, this is called hand breath, and it's a really, really powerful tool for adults and for kids alike. And it's very, very simple. Helps give your mind something to focus on. So if you just inhale on the ups and exhale on the downs, inhale up, exhale down, you do it for the whole course of your hand, and it just helps with some consistency in the breath, and it helps give your mind something to focus on. So let's do this together using the Ujjayi breath, so you can experiment with that for a little bit. Okay, here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. So it may take going back and forth a few times before you can feel your body start to relax. I felt my relaxation kick in a little bit when I got to my middle finger, so that felt really good. But I encourage you, if you're feeling anxiety come on, or if you're having a lot of tension in your day, just sit and do this breath for a little while and see if it can help you relax a little bit. Okay, one more tool I'd like to introduce before we start moving our bodies in some yoga poses is related to the neurovascular points on your forehead. So one homework for everybody to do today after the summit is to Google Donna Eden. She is the founder of Energy Medicine, and she's written a couple of really great books, one specifically for women, on how to engage our own energy channels to increase our health and our vitality and to reduce anxiety and stress and cortisol in our bodies. So if you think for a moment, probably everybody has done this. When you hear some bad news or you see something happen that is not comfortable to witness, it's very common to do this, right? Oh no. And so one reason that Donna proposes that we do this from an evolutionary standpoint is because when we are prompted to go into the fight, flight, or freeze response, the blood from our forebrains drains into our extremities because we need the extra blood to either fight or run. And so she's proposing a technique that I have found to be really, really beneficial. And I know many, many people also find this to be beneficial, to just help bring the blood back to our brains and to engage the relaxation response. When the blood drains from our brains, it's really difficult to think rationally and clearly and calmly. So what you want to do is just take your thumbs on your temples, and you're going to feel on your forehead about an inch above your eyes, there's an indentation, and that's a neurovascular point on your forehead. Consider it to be somewhat like a circuit breaker in your house. So just put your thumbs on your foreheads, and you're gonna put your hands on the points on the neurovascular points on your forehead, thumbs on your temples. Sorry, I said forehead. And we're just going to breathe here for about 3 breaths, in through the nose and out through the Ujjayi breath. What this is doing is it's stimulating the blood to come back into your forebrain so that you can think clearly and rationally and calmly. I know some practitioners also teach this just with a hand on the forehead or 2 hands without putting the thumbs on the temples. I know some patients who actually do this in bed before they go to sleep, just to help enter into a really peaceful state before sleep. So I encourage you to give that a try. Okay, I think I have about 10 minutes left, so I want to move our bodies a little bit for yoga poses. One thing I think everybody can benefit from, whether you're practicing yoga in a studio a couple days a week or you've never tried it at all, is to help maintain spine strength. And it can be done in less than 5 minutes a day. So I want to teach a couple of techniques here that anybody can do sitting in a chair, perfectly fine. Sitting on the floor is great too. And this is what we'll do. We're gonna move our spine in the 5 positions that the spine moves. So it elongates, it moves to each side. We can have a slight back bend, and it rounds towards the front. So take your hands, and you're gonna place them on the creases of your thighs, so where your thigh meets your body, and just rest them there. And on our inhale, we're going to elongate our spine towards the ceiling, and then on our exhale, we're going to relax it using it in Ujjayi breath. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. So now take a hand, and we're going to place it in front of you, not with the palms down because that can stretch the shoulders, but with the palm towards to the side. And we're going to inhale on the up, and we're going to exhale a slight bend to the side. And this isn't so much of a crunching on this side as it is an elongation of the muscles on this side. You can feel a slight flexation in your spine. Inhale to straighten, and Ujjayi breath, exhale down. Next side, we're going to inhale, exhale to the side, inhale up, and exhale down. You'll have to feel for your body what feels right for you when you do this at home. I would say 3 to 5 times on each side, you're gonna really feel some benefit. And I suggest that you do the 3 to 5 on one side all together, and then just stop and notice the difference in your body between one side and the other before you move on to the next side. Okay, so for the front and back flexion, let's bring our arms into a cactus shape. And we're going to inhale up to get some extension in the spine. And we're going to do just a real gentle back bend. So you're trying to bring your shoulder blades together on your inhale. And on your exhale, you're going to bring your arms together. They may or may not be able to touch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Great. So even just for a few minutes a day, if you can spend some time moving your spine in the 5 direction it goes, you're going to feel a lot of benefit. Okay, so I have a little bit of time left, and I wanted to offer a couple of poses that are really helpful to do from your bed. So you can do these in the morning before you even get up for the day, or in the middle of the day if you're down for a nap. Just a good way to help wake the body up a little bit and get things rolling. Okay, so if we're in a reclined position, it's always easier to work the smaller joints than the larger joints of the body. So you can just start by simply rotating your wrists. And you may or may not want to sync your breath with this when you're doing it at home on your own practice. Just open the fingers, get things going. You can do the same thing with the feet, make some circles with your ankles in one direction, and then again in the other direction. Can do this with an extended leg. I just don't have quite enough space here to do it, to be able to see in the screen. Okay, so with arms overhead, we're going to inhale, arms to the top. Exhale, Ujjayi breath down. Arms up, arms down. This time we're just going to do one arm, inhale up, and we're going to circle it while it's up. And then exhale down. Same thing, arm up, circle it. And you can make as big, as small of circles that feel good to you for that particular day. And then exhale down. And then to help with the lower back and the hips, so many people believe that we store our emotions in our hips, and I've personally found that to be true for myself. Anytime I'm really struggling with something or having a hard time, the more work I can do on my hips to release those emotions, the better. So one thing we can do in bed when we're laying down is just bring one knee to the chest. And even if you can only bring it this far, that's just fine. Bring it in as much as you want to. Putting a towel or using a belt behind the neck, behind the knee can help if flexibility is a challenge. So just stretch it, and you might want to circle your hips a little bit, or circle your hip joint. Motion is lotion, right? So anytime you're moving your joints, you're hydrating your joints, which is really, really beneficial. And then on the other side, so just a nice gentle hug in. Circle. Again, you can make as big or as small of circles as you want, whatever's comfortable for you. Down. Okay. So the next pose I want to suggest is, this is really great for just relieving lower, if you have any pressure in the lower back. So on your back, you're going to put your feet just a little more than hip width apart and put your knees together. And do some deep breathing in this pose, and you can feel, I can already feel some of the tension in my lower back starting to release just by getting my hips in this position. Once I've stayed here for a little bit, then I often will just rotate my legs from one side to the other. So this is like a windshield wipering the knees. Very gentle thing you can do in bed or on the living room floor while you're watching TV. Just a very, very gentle movement. And when you're done with that in a state that feels good for your body, I suggest bringing the feet together and just allowing your knees to open and to let the hip joints just enjoy the feeling of having some of the pressure release by having the legs open. In yoga, in restorative yoga, this is called cobbler pose, and I've provided a separate video on how to get into cobbler pose in one of the 15-minute segments. But this is a very, very restorative pose for engaging the relaxation response I was talking about earlier. Sometimes when I'm feeling a lot of stress, I'll put on music that I like, soft music that I like, and I'll just lay in this position for however long, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And it just feels good to be in a position that our body isn't normally in, to help release all of the different feelings of tension. So I think I'm about out of time. I hope this has been beneficial. Again, thank you for taking the time to join. You're welcome to visit my website, empoweredcancerpatient.com. I offer a lot of free resources for doing yoga as a cancer patient. We have groups of free online in your home yoga. There's some resources you can download and access at your convenience. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. So again, thank you for taking the time and enjoy the rest of your day.